Good morning, everyone. You're listening to Trace Elements Radio with your hostess, Tracey Kennedy. I hope you're all doing well today. I have to say hi to everyone. Revolution Radio, Studio A, and of course, Trace Elements Radio. Normally, on New Year's Eve, I do readings. If you guys would like that, I could also do something later on tonight if you like. If you guys would like that, this is completely free. You get one card and one question. You can call in today, and I will do that. I'll have to get up and go get my cards because I just decided, darn, I didn't even plan for this. We should keep that available today. So if you'd like to contact me, my Skype is Ms. Red Queen. Our phone number, it's American. It's 270-775-0015. If you call me, I'll give you a reading. We don't need the cards really, but we'll see what we do. It's a very important day today. I hope everyone feels that, knows that. We are about to line up for a cosmic event. The big lineup is 2017. So we actually have a year to prepare for this. It's not, how do I even say it? It's not a prediction so much as what I've been telling you for quite some time is lining up right now. It is about the 239, the days, these important things that are going on. It's about Revelation 12, if you like. We've already crossed the Lion's Gate and the Golden Gate. The year of Lucius, the year of light, has ended. We tonight strategically enter into the year of darkness. Now, as I've told you, darkness is a couple things. Darkness is the mother's womb. It's how we come in. We enter into the light through the darkness. We are born in darkness. We actually spend some time as the living dead in the womb. We have no heartbeat. So what we know of as life does not exist. It does not exist for us for quite some time. We do things to get here in this reality. Our 9 months in the womb is the story of creation itself. But the coming events are so deep that everyone's talking about it. And I mean everyone. And this isn't going to be one of those fake NASA reports where NASA says that they're going to do it. No, it's a real NASA report from the Nazis themselves. NASA. Congress, the American Congress, has said NASA needs to create a deep space habitat on Mars by 2018. This is unprecedented. You might ask why. What's important about this time? But this time right now. In studying what we've studied, walking you through the things, and we'll go back to the language and the Brothers Grimm and the dictionaries and the combining of our languages. We'll get back to that in the new year. But today, I want to prepare you. Because there have been many emphatic, prophetic messages. And it's getting specific now. It's like we're dancing closer and closer and closer to each other. It's a personal connection I want you to make with your body, with exactly what you are. Now, my belief is this is the time foretold. We can look at it two different ways. Project Lucifer comes to life this year. Strategic locations where entities are actually awaiting their appointed time. We have to remember, when we talk about prophecy, that the elders were smart. They had a connection to themselves that we, for the most part, no longer have. And someone needs to send a fax up to the moon and tell them to turn that darn thing down. Because, oh my God, we have a magnetic overload happening here. The truth is now before us. I don't joke about this. Here's a story. And the whole idea of what I've been telling you about and what we've been doing in this preset role is the faction that is just not with the BS. The real revolution will happen to you in your body personally. It's not what somebody else is going to do. It's not about the fairy gods. It's not about, the passing. I don't care how much you dress up the white guy in the beard. I know who he is. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I really, really don't care. And yes, there are a lot of things to know. But we have braved it all together. I will tell you simply, once you fear, you are still here. What I mean by this is that you are here right now listening to this. So what value does emotion of fear really have? It's an illusion. But forget telling you these things. I need to show you these things and how it's all wired together. I'm going to put up some pictures. I didn't have the time yet, but I'll make sure they're available on my site. The real chakra system and how there's always a portal in and a portal out. And this is for those who wish to govern what we could become. This is the year of the immortal. Tonight, last stroke of 12, is year 1 of the Freemason calendar. Yes, good and bad. But this is the Phi. This is what we are. This is our chance for immortality. When I get back to, I'll have a show where we'll talk about how to clean up the system completely, your body. Most of it you can do in a couple days. A good start. There are 3 days of hell, like the 3 days of darkness. You can, if you want to go all ninja on it. Or it can take longer. But the events that are happening, starting specifically September 23rd, 2015, are pushing you towards September 23rd, 2017. This coming year is the most important year of your life. Everything matters now. We're no longer playing at this. This is the time we step up or we fail as a family. And I didn't come here to fail. I am not going quietly into this good night. And I don't think you are either. And that's why almost every movie has that little passage in it now. It's the true resistance. And it's time. When we take the step, then it actually appears. That is how we are going to roll this out. First, I must explain the modes of existence according to the speed in ranges I've discovered. 1. The flesh being. This refers to the body of a man, of a woman, of a beast, of a plant, which is called, more correctly, an ark, or a car, or a vessel that can hold energy, spirit, soul, if you will. The body is also referred to in ancient texts as a clay jar, or a clay pot, or the earth, but a vessel. Goes back to sea and Mar and Mary. We still ride and we still come up through the darkness. Now let us use the example of building to make this all clear. If a flesh being is tasked to build a physical structure, how long will it take? The size of the structure, the strength of the worker, and of course technology available, all factors in. When a person has to physically build something material, there will be a considerable measure of time involved. Still with me? So, flesh and time are a similar thing. There cannot be one without another. Next, light being. Light being does not mean a good one or a bad one. It simply means a being composed of light, which you are, using that as a form of expression. It appears we are sheathed, like a sword, inside of a more complex existence, and more complex existences of ourselves, putting on these various bodies layers, 7 layers of our skin, etc., etc., etc. Some protect, while others even hinder. That is within. Next, thought form. And let us move again to an example of building. At one point, light beings were tasked to build a temple. That temple was not only constructed in record speed, it also was constructed with precise measurements to unbelievable accuracy. So you can already see the difference in power, energy, and superiority of using a light vehicle over a flesh vehicle. However, if you examine the thought form, it is far more superior than the two. It simply thinks, and it is. This building can be constructed with a thought. Next, the zone beings. And ladies and gentlemen, we have discovered yet another phase, a faster wavelength. To an accessible spectrum So welcome to the zone. It's why they use these words. There's this piece of work that I really recommend, and you'll laugh. The Animatrix. There's one short skit, and it's divided in a couple short skits, and you can look at it at YouTube, and I'll find it again and put it on the page. There's one man in that Matrix. The Animatrix is actually deeper than the Matrix movies, if you watch it. This man goes into the zone so far that he runs out of the Matrix. He uses his physical body and runs out. He escapes. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the big jailbreak. Now, it is a fact that there is a level that all brain functions turn off. They do. All thoughts cease. They do not exist. And you move into the zone. You are exactly one click ahead of everything, using your physical body to time travel. You don't need a chair, and that's Arthur C. Clarke anyway. Lucifer Project, which I've been asked to look at, is actually from a Arthur C. Clarke novel, once again. A lot of people saying they're having experiences, and I'm not saying they're not. They're connecting to something. But the major important thing is, it was triggered by authors. 2001, the new demon that came up and told us it's time to grow up. These things, we're being triggered to remember these things. We could be triggered to fear, and it's the aliens, and it's the apocalypse, and it's the rapture. Or it's time for you and me and us together to run ourselves out of the Matrix. We can do it. God, I got over Christmas. I don't know about you guys. Ate too much, drank too much, not done yet. My family parties for at least 2 days for anything. Anything that can be celebrated once needs to be celebrated for 48 hours. Or I guess it doesn't count. So we have that. We have tonight here in Canada. I'm Eastern Standard Time, so in 12 hours, give or take, I will be celebrating the new year, where it will be time to put away childish things. For me. You don't have to. A suggestion, if you will. Time for us to get up and run out of the zone. No more fluff. We are now welcoming each other to the core. Our hearts will be whole. We came to do what we can, as many that are ready to emancipate ourselves beyond this thing, because this thing is horrible. I was going to read you the news today, but the first thing I saw is this man disemboweling a woman with his hands. I don't see it, but it was in the news. I can't look at those things anymore. United States, toddlers killed more people than any terrorist attack that ever happened in the United States last year. This year we're still in. It's hard to say then or now at the time of the crossing, but you know what I mean. For many of us, our planets are already gone in the future. And that's because of something that happened right here on Earth right now. So let me explain that our Earth is inside of yet another matrix. This is why we have this duality. This is the whole looking glass thing, detailed in great detail. This world is a shadow, a parallel, a shade. It's why we can't see everything here. It's why our eyes have such a small, visible spectrum until we run out of the matrix. So, we will now, for a fact, see a new paradigm, because we have not been fully aware of the other world, and it is now being revealed to us clear enough to grasp it. We are seeing these things. We find our current, our power, our existence full of parallels, full of opposites. Documents I've been giving you, it states that the greatest difference between us and the beings we are denoting as higher is the ability to come in and out of the body, which would also be in and out of the earth at will. They are making machines for this. I'm here to tell you, you don't need a machine for this. You are not the body, but you will need it for your mission, so keep it tuned, keep it ready. The next phase is to learn how to get out of that body. To do that, you will need to vibrate properly. And of course, you will still need a body. We get rid of the pathogens that hinder the vibration, the wavelength, keeping you stuck. You cannot be at a higher level without purifying this body. You can't. So the people who are saying that they can get you out of the matrix by drinking this special water, taking this special pill, listening to this special tune, will never leave here. You can't do it just that way. We have this very special gift, all of us. We have to use each and every piece of it. All you need to know, though, about the aliens is here in this body, with the pictures that I've shown you over and over and over again. The controllers only have to control because people believe they have control. However, people have been believing a long time before I got here, and I've arrived in the problem to continuously tell people all day long, stop believing in that, waste time. And we do not have any more of that. I would rather work on what will occur as people continue to believe blindly in what they don't understand and what they don't thoroughly research. This will kill you. It is killing you. So Ark, storage places for information, as in archives, which makes me laugh when people are looking for the ancient archives. You are the ancient archives, people. Humans are the arks, the cars, the vehicles, the archives. Ark. Then John, Khan, Cain, Coin, all of these things, all of these words come in the same etymology, Cain, Con, King, C-O-N. So in essence, archons are masters at removing energy from humans. You have to feed your body. There are some that no longer have to ingest, but they are now living on light. That is very rare. Although beings are alive right now doing that very thing. Just as many beings are living on darkness, in the deep waters, in the deep caves. We can do both just as easily. We can go in and out of both things. But there is a major reason many that deliver the knowledge about the Anunnaki seem to have very little information in regards to where they come from and what happened, what was happening on Earth before they got here. This is because the Anunnaki are part of a group better known as the Archons. Tracking the Archons will give the seeker much more data in regards to these beings and what they represent and what is taking place on Earth now and then, along with who is managing its system of control. Archons can be looked at as instigators, used to keep the zone being defunct, trapped inside the body. Much of this is done through suggestion, as archons generally take positions of influence, especially in entertainment and politics. They then become the idols and the eidolons and the role models and the stars for the masses, who in turn emulate them to their own demise. They come in all shapes and colors and sizes, and they are eager and programmed to fulfill orders, never ask questions. They guide society with their corporate power and their corporate influence right into its own demise. There are many galactic misfits on this dimension. They have found a common cause when doing the bidding of these archons. Entertainers are often the most infected. On the right, you have known Boule Archon members, Will Smith, the rapper Game, along with the group the Neptunes, showing overtly that they are the V. Controlled, Feral, or Pharrell. These are the pharaohs. This is a new word. On the left, you have Drake, Lil Wayne. Drake means dragon, as in Draco. Lil is a Kabbalist abbreviation for Lilith, while Wayne means Wayne, W-A-N-E, means to reduce or decline gradually. This is what they are doing to the people. Many, of course, never suspect that the Archon story is entirely different than most spiritual beings on this planet. We have spoken briefly in regards to the heavy use of grimoires by Masons, and the whole fascination with Solomon and the power of the controlling spirits, and controlling those spirits. I now have much more information in regards to that subject. It's highly possible that Solomon's temple may in fact have meant the whole world. I have come to this conclusion for various reasons. The first being that Solomon is, as we know, a reference to three ruling sons, or S-O-N-S, Sol, Invictus, Om, and On, which are powerful vibrations. That's why you turn the light on. It's an old word. Vibrations of energy, obviously, in dominion, right now. Turn the light off. It's darkness, isn't it not? The power's off. Those kind of things. These words were not randomly chosen, so let us keep in mind the Latin word for Sunday is domingo, which has a root of dom, which means to lord over, to dominate, as in the day of worship. That's why it was Sunday for many. And you will find those with extensive knowledge in regards to Solomon's magical works account his greatest teachings to his ability to trap spirits in jars, while commanding and questioning them as he wished. Solomon's seal? Actually, the pentagram, not the Star of David. So let us pull this apart. It is encrypted, in the same speak, often used to confuse everyone. The glass, or pot, would more or less be our body, and of course we are the spirit. As mentioned, if a person lacks the ability to come out of their body, then it has basically become a prison for them. Many ETs use bodies such as the ones we are using right now, and even more advanced editions. However, they do not remain in them all the time. They can enter, they can exit easily. The zone body is the primary vehicle of choice. Excuse me, guys, my throat is dry. Probably from the overabundance of food I've been eating. And I got chocolate for tonight. It's ridiculous amounts of chocolate and wine and food, like ridiculous. So if you're in Guelph, call me. Call a sister up. I got plenty of food. Oh my God. So we can be working on cleaning this up because I'm going to need some time. Anyway, these kind of beings with a zone body was the primary vehicle of choice, but it is immaterial and it's difficult to control because a being that is non-material cannot be controlled so easily. So first they must be netted. Just like the Arculian from the movie Men in Black, remember the first one? Demonstrates the layered body concept. You know, that little tiny alien looking guy inside the whole shell, and inside of that there was this like ship. It's that concept. That's the layered body concept. A body inside of another one, of another, determining which planes can be accessed by the zone body, encased inside. Let it be known that the activated body is an amazing vehicle. Also can be utilized for great feats on this dimension. Having the knowledge of how to activate this body has always been kept within the Cabbal's priesthood, mainly that of the serpent class. It is, in fact, the priests of the Levi, were the priests of Leviathan, or the world serpent energy. That's why they have blue jeans, called Levi's. It means something else. It doesn't mean what we think. It is not a group of people per se. It's a group of people that can still use this energy. The body is a fractal of the planet. The planet also has Kundalini. That energy flows through the planetary ley lines, often being trapped by the priesthood to amplify their own energy and control over the surrounding population. Churches are everywhere for a reason. And the configuration of the ley lines in a cathedral are exactly the configuration of the ley lines in your body. I'm thinking of an author, Stephanie Cardinal. She not only discovers where the churches are always built on ley lines by obviously the old empire and the reptilian factions, but also have points in the church that amplify the power of the pastors and the deacons. That's why they have to stand at a certain part above you. That is a place of power. This is a place of broadcasting. You get a chance to go in a church. Don't sit in the pews trapped. Go and stand at the altar in front of it on the raised portion. And this is probably more suggestive programming as well, that you're underneath them. Now the areas, I'll show you a picture. Certain areas have stronger points. I'm going to circle them in red. There are also areas in the church that church officials frequent, most during service. The priests are prisoners themselves, many much too deluded to ever suspect such a thing despite how much information you give them. More clarity has been presented on the symbol of the serpent, which can be compared to the symbol of the skull and the bones, the crossbones. This is a very universal symbol for danger, as skulls are symbols of death. When something contains this type of branding or warning, it is giving a hint to its origins for those attempting to interface with it for various reasons, mostly diabolical, but not always. But this is when it becomes a symbol for them to trace. The worm holding a fleur-de-lis. In Crete, same image, a dragon's head, usually collared and chained. I'll show you pictures. For the record, the serpent symbol has meant to the Gnostics the cause and the solution to the problem. Just as many ailments can be cured with the same actual poison. Stated mainly, the problem is the dragon or the serpent race or the daemon controlling you. That race put in charge of the system to keep it under control. The solution is the power in which they use to reign over the rest of us, because they do not have it activated. This is the Kundalini, this is the Chi energy that flows through your channels of your body. Kundalini actually gives the person the power necessary not only to comprehend what is going on, but also what to do in their own particular situation. 7 billion of us, 7 billion situations. And when I say many people have different situations, my God, you have no idea. One solution does still remain. Activate. Awaken this chi force. It also gives the body a shield of protection that appears as a bright light on the astral plane. This could be the rainbow body that we keep hearing about. But darker energies cannot even look at it, let alone touch it. So getting back on track here, we find the etymology and definition of the pentagram thus: pen, to hold, down or in; gram, a unit of weight, in this case the weight of the soul. Notice the word petrogram. Aten, which is connected to the priests of Atun, contains gram, also meaning a word to contact Atan, the spirit. If this seems far-fetched, the units of weight are always referred to beings in many cases. Oz, an abbreviation for ounces. It is a hint towards another unit of measure, mainly for gold. Yellow brick roads coming to mind? More on that later. Next year. The Wizard of Oz is the Wizard of Gold. A perverted alchemist is more concerned with turning gold into dirt than the other way around, and all the while attempting to remain noble, which can't be done. The pentagram is far more powerful than the sword. Further definition lends that the basic humans are in a pentagram, possibly several layers of pentagram, as shown by Leonardo da Vinci. And for many, until they learn all of this, they cannot even begin to manipulate or navigate their way out of such a deceptive and diversive trap that uses music to lure it to its prey. That's why Pan plays flutes to the children to lure them away. Many of us fall prey to it before it traps them and starts using them for their own energy. These demons. And throughout the musical scales, souls can be lured in. That's why they use bells and tones. Pavlov had nothing to do with training a dog with a bell. They'd already done that with us. That's why people stand up and kneel and pray at certain times. Bells, flutes, organs, many meanings. And through these musical scales, again, we are lured. This is why so many pantheistic gods are depicted with flutes or musical instrument or someone playing to them. But the body is geometrically a pentagram. See also amitics. The words are pentagrams. We'll get into that. This all means a great deal of the wisdom of Solomon, which is that of the Levite priests, the pharaohs, etc., is how to place spirits once more into various flesh bodies and reanimate them again for various purposes, but mainly to start a new breed. Now we see why the paranormal division and various factions have always had an interest in occult art. why David has 5 letters, unless you separate the DVD and the AI from it. They are fascinated with bringing things back from the past, placing their spirits in new bodies, making them mate once more to breed again. Pythagoras also denotes the earth, Gaia, as a pentagram and an element. The 5th element is, in fact, flesh. It then becomes important to talk about the hierarchy of the ruling, so that one does not get confused and go join one of these factions out of ignorance, desperation, especially not out of fear. The body is the fractal of the planet. So in that case, the planet is a prison, pre-Zion. Just because you are in a prison, though, does not mean you have done anything wrong. We're seeing that. It's why cops are killing people and getting away with it. All of these things are working together in the exact same way. We will have to give you some knowledge about factions, beginning with the old empire. The real empire is very similar to the depiction given to the dark side, if you will. In order to not make this seem like a fiction, I will give you a general idea of who these beings are, where they can be found in history, in the text that we can find them. It appears that before the rebellion of Lucifer, there were many other beings that Lucifer was in league with. Lucifer is a creation, as it states in the Bible. So we know that God of the Bible created Lucifer. So it is safe to say that the God of the Bible is part of the old empire. I'm further aware by discourse on magic and ancient works and Kabbalah and etymology and cipher and many other ways that we have gone through together, that this God is related to the serpent and the bird beings who exist within Orion, Alpha Draconis, various other places throughout the galaxy. Don't forget, reptiles evolve into birds. They are no different. The chicken you eat used to be Tyrannosaurus Rex. Actually, they're the closest related. So you don't want to come back as something chicken-like. Maybe it was an a-hole last time. It's coming back as Kentucky and Fried Popeyes. So the ancient ones and the elder gods. Still, all family. Lucifer, Beelzebub. Let me do the names. Lucifer means emperor. Beelzebub, prince. Astaroth, Grand Duke. Luciferige, Prime Minister. Satanisha, Grand General. Alirept is an Aussie General. Floriette, Lieutenant. Sargon Anta, Brigadier. These words are not made up from skyhooks. They thought about these things. The old empire has exercised control and force here and throughout the universe, entering quadrants, attacking inhabitants while they attempt to seize resources. This is a fractal of exactly what is taking place on Earth. This is the continuous behavior. It's taking place on Earth and our bodies. I got a note today that they are about to release the plague mosquitoes. Got some news for you. They were released in 2008. They are mechanical. Mosquitoes are problematic anyway because they not only take your blood, they implant DNA from other things. Always been like this. But it's the rise of the machine again. Scary. If you are not controlling your body. We'll get into this. But it is continuous behavior. What's going on in Africa is what's going on the planet. It's what's going on to you when you eat something bad. You must fight that demon. And that demon is you. And there was a skirmish. All the stories say there's a skirmish amongst the ranks. I don't care what you call the god and his minions. There's a skirmish. It happened everywhere. But the archons are blind, meaning they do not see the other side of things, and are permanently polarized. It's why only the Sith deals in absolutes. I put up a funny image about vodka the other day. You guys know absolute vodka? It's kind of telling you the same story. And again, a spirit trapped in a bottle. They are envious of one another. It's why the ruling class on the planet kill each other for money. And they know money isn't real. Rich people don't have to pay for anything. They're given stuff. The better rooms, the nicer glasses, the sweet linens. They are envious. All they know is greed. And everything else because of this impediment. They are the blind. And we already know that in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. We always have a chance. We've never been outnumbered. We won't ever be outnumbered. So it's not long before the old empire is challenged, usually from within. In this case, some of the sons rose against their father. So now, once a person dives into this story, they have to be very careful. They still must understand the empire is wrong, no matter who's in control. I'll put up some pictures, and I'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Trace Elements Radio, live with your hostess today, Tracey Kennedy. So we will be doing readings tonight. If you guys want, I'll be available, and you can call me on Skype, and it'll be fun. We haven't done that in a while, so be a good time. Of course, it's free. You get one question, so think of your little questions. One card, one person, one reading. There is a reason why there were no dog soldiers here before God came. Arks and barks and God and dog. That's why most of the ancient dogs and the gods usually, well, the northern ones, the god usually has a dog. It's saying the same thing. I'm not saying it's in a rude way, and I'm not making fun of. I'm just saying we do not steal from each other as much as they think. We adapt to each other. We are each other. We've always been each other. So once a person dives into this story, we start seeing similarities, do we not? The empire exercises dominion over our limitless species, hindering us from our potential using methods cruel, intrepid, such as marooning spirits on hostile, unstable worlds with only a fraction of their memories intact. Space, then, becomes time, which is the distance between us and another object. The further we perceive home, the longer it takes for us to get there. That is why we must now be in the know. And I have learned there are many reasons for the memory wipe. Some obvious, while others are not. It's why they're doing these things physically. And they are far more important. Through any lifetime that you used an advanced form of technology, like Aztec, you will generally know how to make that technology. Much of the technology is used on an unhindered homeworld. Would revolutionize a place like Earth in months or days. Oh, look. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, apparently I'm not waiting to 8, so, if you want to call in, I'll do it. Because I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. Like, I wouldn't be doing this without you, and I'm sure everyone knows it. I'm here to talk to you. Really, here to talk to you. I don't have that many listeners anymore, so, if you're here, it's because we need each other. And I love that. Oh, I wanted to tell you too, Revolution Radio just suddenly got nailed. We may have to move some certain things around, so we're asking for some help. Donations if you have. I know it's a tough time of year, and you guys always take care of me, so we're good. I love you guys. So anyway, going through this time, much of this technology that has been used before and is used now in the exact same way and used on unhinged worlds destroy, and our world is becoming unhinged. If we were unhindered on this home world, the tech would revolutionize a place like Earth in months, if not days. We could clean this up. So it's a big deal to make sure that the kind of information is removed from memory. This is why we forget. Now, of course, there are many that are gaining their memories back. So they're starting to remember how to develop things that will assist them on this quest for complete emancipation. We want to be free. Likewise, many people accredited in the past with inventing something really haven't invented anything. They've just remembered and remembered. They put things back together instead of being in pieces. With me? Okay. So when the sons began war with the father, the story gets hazy all over the world. Now, the reason is not all the members of the empire rebelled. So in many instances, you had sons fighting sons, brothers fighting brothers, cousins fighting cousins. This is revolutionary wars. This happens in the story, but on the planet. Same way everywhere, doesn't matter. So this manifested on our planet as the wars they talked about in the Rig Vedas, which is actually what you would known as the pharaonic bloodlines warring against or with the Aryans astral plane kind of stuff not that long ago. So, the Dijori rod appears as a signal or a double-edged light beam of energy on the astral. This is called the Vril rod. It's very powerful. It's things we can see now. It's a scepter. It's why kings and queens hold scepters. This is an artifact of the ancient tech. You can make it now. You'll feel the power from it. This is a lightsaber. It's the same thing. So this is exactly where they got the concept of the lightsaber from. So ultimately, one super weapon turned the tide of war. The old empire was forced to retreat underground and begin follow plans to re-legion or replenish the ranks of their fallen soldiers. Soldier means divided sun. Soul is sun deer equals die equals divide. Priests are then sent to work. The process is slow at first due to new teachings consisting of calming oneself through balancing karma, dharma, and devotion. The general practices seen in Buddhism. The old ways of hatred and power held sway over man and woman's judgment, and once again, as they begin to multiply after the last great cataclysm, or whatever happened, and greed and power and wealth came to mind, again, new recruits begin to fill temples and your thoughts. The temple that you build and the temple between your two ears. Now, of course, people began once again to evoke spirits of the old empire, even the fallen ones. And their bodies became used as vehicles for the beings to carry out various agendas related to the never-ending Orion saga. Now, may the quickener reach this confused species in enough time before what is previous gets caught in the crossfire. The old empire has rearmed itself and is planning a full-scale assault. But there is an end coming to all this, something that the controllers do not know, so they cannot prepare for it. It is the time to give the complete meaning of the word Zion, who is Sony, as the Y is an I, and are always interchangeable. It is Psi. It is also PSI. Variation. The Greek 23rd letter is the numerological equivalent of 700. It is the spike. It is the saber. Usually a trident. This is the return also of the darkness. It could be the return of the mother, because she is the ocean. It is Mary. But a sai is also a Japanese weapon. This weapon is also connected to the term manji, or the Japanese term for the reversed swastika. Unicode encodings. U plus 534D. 12. Left-faced. Or the other one, which is 13. Right-faced. You know the swastika sign. You can look this up. So, keep in mind, and I will put pictures on the site later. Okay, so keep in mind that it is composed of su, meaning good, well. Now, according to Wiki, however, we see it only is connected to SU as in ISU. So things get fishy starting now. Another variation. SCI, meaning according to etymology, to cut, to divide, to rend, to split, to cleave. Another variation, Psy, PSY, term for soul or mind, because they don't want to talk about a soul now, it's just a mind. So the complete definition of SI, it's a hybrid symbol of, again, Isis, the $sign. Key combination, shift number 4, tetra, on the keyboard. Psi is quite an odd word, as it is in the Latin word for yes, si. It has, right off the bat, whatever it means, well, many have already agreed to. We also see that in English, the word yes could be made as I-E-S, which would give you S-I-E, still pronounced C. Tumbling words, of course. We'll get into the keys of language after the new year. But they will give the rest the best results. So next is the word is, I-S, which is derived from the word es, which means to be. All of this has kind of happened to me at once, so there's been a lot to adjust to and to push back out. I have all of a sudden gained an ability to connect everything with my mind and body and soul that it's doing at the moment, even when I try to sleep. This has been happening for 3 days. Huge. Now, since is, I-S, really comes from the word es, this means the cult of Isis is simply the cult of Isis, or SS, because you can just toss the vowels out. Now we will begin to see how deep this whole thing really is and who's involved, since the Nazis at one point had the world pretty much in agreement with its motives before the United States allegedly moved in. What makes us think that those parties, even after the false flag defeat of the Nazis, still do not hold the plans of much deeper agenda here? The Nazi Party was not trying to just take over the world. They wanted to seize back control of the lost empire, the territory, as they are the old empire, carried by the Ossifists, ancient ones, the archons, the old ones. So this leads us right up to the point we left off before in regards to the sides. The Psi. However, to finish briefly on the meaning of Zion, Scion, it is basically an alien, reptilian controlled faction with ideas of conquering everything through division and the power of the sun on. This faction is very scientific, even Borgian, like the Borg, as the archons are said to be non-organic in many ways. The idea of one God also leads to the idea that only one being is a God. What a mind job, really. We have to know that organic just means flesh or organism, and should not be used to describe if something is alive or not. Generally, anything that can carry energy is considered living, no matter what that energy may be. Now I'm going to tell you why it seems like many of these sides blur. And if you don't have a keen eye for symbolism, you get confused. Are humans really ready to go universal and meet the off-world family, like we claim? Or will our fear continuously get the best of us? As I've stated before, just because you are in prison does not mean you've done anything wrong. The reason souls, which is the term we'll use for now, are inside of bodies, range as such. The soul has been trapped or kidnapped from their planet, home, world, by the empire, dominion, affiliations, and is being kept as a trophy and or is being harvested for energy. Some of these world homes have been destroyed or remain under the control of the empire. In some cases, a soul has been kidnapped, and that home world is still attempting to find that one soul. This soul was not conforming properly to the hive mind on the planet they used to reside on, that came under empire control. The empire generally rules through a hive, a neural network, very similar to our internet, but organic. This is why they are tied into everything and everyone's mind for ease of command, and of course to eliminate any type of feeling of privacy. Many in this situation would not conform or were immune to bliss, which causes a person not to care about what is really going on. They give all the controls of decision making over to the controller. Because of nonconformity, they are contained and shipped to earth. This soul was caught with too many illegal infractions against the empire, such as dealing in weapons and drugs and technology, or anything of that nature without proper empire clearance. Even though the empire is scum, they require one to have a license to be scum. Just like our own legal system, anywhere you may be, because it is their system. The term draconian law is now common speak. This soul was a member of a military, of a conquered planet or empire. The empire does not waste resources. After a memory is wiped, as talked about by me before, there contains a core of information. This gives the person their traits, likes, dislikes, etc. It is very difficult to remove these abilities from a defensively and offensively equipped soul. They can, however, be channeled. You will find most military members are either old empire members in exile without knowing, or ex-members of the military of their own forgotten home world, usually, actually fighting on the wrong side through amnesia and mind control tactics, which we have talked about. It is very grim. That's why it's long, long ago and far, far away. That's a myth. That's wrong. It's a lie. So this soul located a long lost kin in this quantum, in this quadrant. And although knowing it was empire territory, sought to rescue that soul. This is the classic rescue mission love story. an equipped soul loses a kindred spirit, somehow to the Empire, then seeks to rescue that soul from the Empire, understanding somewhat the strongholds, and finds themselves also trapped. In actuality, more evidence is showing that at least one of your fragments is walking around lost without you, here, physically. Magnetism can actually, this is your soulmate. It's someone who is, they are supposedly, or supposed to marry, someone to have sex with, and be forever, and you want and only, and have children. At this point I say LOL, that's not what it means. In many cases, a soulmate is actually the same external sex the individual is now. These are just people that you need to reunite with to make you completely whole again, so that you will know where you came from and what you have to do. I have met many soulmates on this journey. Something shattered me to pieces, I guess. Now, this soul is part of various factions, attempting to end the control of the Empire and dominion, and has been sent in to do that very thing. This is normally accompanies a gain of information and mission. Once inserted soul awakens to the cause. Often in life, they catch hints of this through visions and dreams. Also the uncanny urge that they are here to do something, and you know what it is, and it's very specific, and you knew it as a child, even if you laugh at it now. This soul is an exiled member of the Empire, or alliances of the Empire. These individuals can always be spotted as such, as much of their core still remains and contains Empire idealism. They simply have no memory of their affiliation, or even that such things exist. So let us keep our mind, our population at large, does not really even believe in spirits. Not to mention capabilities and stories of things like this. What I'm talking to you about, the news stories I'm telling you about are this story. Ignorance can be seen in how few answers one actually has to questions that are truly important. And all of what I'm speaking of answers all the questions so many have here. Some things are much more difficult to accept than others. However, what have we been doing anyway? Sitting around on timeout waiting for them to totally screw up the world while we lay around powerless. Yeah, okay, not me. Sounds like a reason to bring out the actual real me, not the sleep version. All I really need to confirm is what I already knew. I'm an alien. So are you. And many of these missions, these rescue missions, have succeeded. Some failed. I believe souls are removed from this madness at every moment by rescue attempts conducted by much more harmonized forces outside of the Empire. They send out a beacon. That's probably what I'm feeling from the moon. That can be emanated from within ourselves once we get a firm footing of what's going on and stop being so scared, which is an anagram for sacred, meaning not wanting to know the meaning of something because it has all of this mist of mysticism and the unknown around it. We should still understand the controllers are also very equipped souls. Not all of them are sloppy and dense, as depicted on our television, and in fact, they are more like the beings depicted in the Hindu pantheism. master shapeshifters, wielders of the chi. But wait, until you get a load of what you are. You can only imagine if they have you behind this thick veil, what they do not want you to see. It's very good. It's also very good. It's not up to them anymore. The information is finally here for you, whole, entire. We are not just talking about one thing. We are referring to all things. In the second article called the Tibetan Dorji, as described as a scepter, is understood to be the same as a Vrisha or thunderbolt of the Brahmas, which is the Trisula, or the trident, or the scepter of Siva. Temples of Siva have the trident placed on the shakara, or the sphere. Tibetan Dorji does not at first sight suggest any resemblance to a trident, but it is in reality a group of 2 or 4 tridents combined. And the outer one, the outer prongs come around and meet at a point of the center one, of the whole, somewhat the appearance of a crown. This is a correct explanation. I have enough evidence in possessing a Buddhist dorji in which the prongs were not repeated. It is simply a trident. Both ends of an instrument, which is about 5 inches long, sometimes 6, depends, made of brass or copper. They have prongs, and the space between is handled, which is held, which is done repeatedly during a service, tipped. What those lambas understand as the meaning of holding the scepter in their hands at a particular time is my want of the language prevented me from learning, but it means the power to knock an angel from heaven. We go to the Bible, Luke. He said unto them, I beheld Satan fall from heaven like lightning. So did I. I know this story all too well, and it came back to me in the flesh as I too remembered. The Tibetan masters, these Kanpo, always pack a dorji just in case things get out of control or out of hand. A bell is to open the frequency to a portal to awake the master back from his astral travel. Crowns, scepters, coronation balls are not just decoration. The jewels contained within these items radiate power. Energy can be used as spiritual confrontation. So pharaohs versus Aryans. So in order for me to get this to you, I'm going to have to sum this up. I really could keep going for weeks. And just as you see, as I, a symbol, you know that the gods of the ocean, the sky, the earth, who carry a trident, or dorji, along with Tibetan masters who also carry it, and even the devil, all have some strange connection. This connection is through symbolism. I do not have the time right now to go into the Ankh and the Khan and its story, but I'm sure as long as I'm here, you will eventually know these things. You'll know everything. Trident is a 2-dimensional image of the dorji. It also becomes the symbol, the same 3 points of the fleur-de-lis. I have come to the conclusion that these objects also double symbols of representation, origin, and affiliation of beings, in addition to weapons for protection and war. You will see Marduk carry it, Neptune carry it. The trident is the trident, no matter how much you draw it. So saddle up. You want an awesome conspiracy? If you're a fan of science fiction, you know Arthur C. Clarke and Stanley Kubrick's, of course, the novel series 2001, Space Odyssey. The second installment, 2010, Odyssey 2. The alien monolith that was orbiting Jupiter replicates itself, begins condensing the gas giant, eventually transforming it into a sun. This is a process that turns former planets, moons, into inhabitable worlds suitable for life. The people of Earth constantly name the second sun in the sky Lucifer. Without being too esoteric right now, term Lucifer is Latin, literally means light bringing. A fitting name for our solar system's new star, is it not? And throughout mankind's history, observations of Earth and the cosmos, there are several first-hand recorded events of minor and major proportions. Some of the minor ones are proven. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Join me tonight at 8, and I'll do some readings if anyone's around, and that'll be awesome. So have a wonderful day, and Happy New Year's, everybody.